Is your phone on silent?
It is on
Is your
silent.
iWatch on silent?
It is on silent.
Hello, all. Welcome to Tech Tac Toe. We're back in the studio again.
Back again.
I know you guys miss seeing us in the studio. We miss seeing you people, even though, it's been like a couple of weeks.
Dammy has been telling me for the past few weeks how much he misses everyone and how much he misses the studio and everything like that.
I mean, literally, I feel some type of way when I don't come in to record.
You know what? That's actually very true. Like, because I just love like the energy we can like bring to the pod, and also like the feedback we get from all of y'all that listen to the pod, right? Like you guys tell us like about all the things you find exciting. Sometimes you also interact about the topics and stuff like that, right? And it's just great getting like your feedback. So the fact that we've not been able to kind of like post recently, it's just been rubbing me the wrong way. You know?
Honestly, and keep it coming. Honestly, we love the comments, the drags. Not so much drags. It's usually just like fun pieces. I don't know. People feel so passionate about tech when it's like their favorite company. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you feel passionate towards Samsung. I feel obsessed around
iPhones
Apple.
and Apple. You're an Apple fangirl at this point. We all
at this point, I know, literally.
Yeah.
But so much has happened in tech over the past couple of weeks, and it's quite interesting. Really, we're going to be running through a couple of the top highlights in the tech industry, products as well. In this episode, starting with OpenAI. OpenAI has finally launched their first hardware, and that is very interesting because I really thought like they were just going to limit their software thingy to ChatGPT, but now they have like an hardware product, which is interesting. But not just interesting because it's solely attached to them. Apple is suing them because some of the people that worked on the hardware used to like have some interaction with Apple. So Apple is saying
they used to work for
they
Apple.
used to work. That's all I'm saying. But Apple is saying like they stole secrets and they sold it to OpenAI. That is interesting to say the least. And Vietnam is actually looking to restrict social media for kids. This is something I think I have like strong opinions about. So we're going to be talking about this as well. And moving on to the other bits that we have in the news.
Moving on to the other bits that we have in the news, there have also been a lot of activity just in terms of like releases. Like for example, recently Samsung had their Samsung Unpacked event, and they really came with some interesting products. Like for example, we have the new Galaxy Z Fold 8, and we have the Z Fold 8 Ultra, and then Samsung also announced that they'll be releasing some smart glasses as well. We're going to get into that. Then also there is the recent gist that happened where OpenAI's model apparently hacked Hugging Face, which was very interesting. We'll get into that as well. Then also there's a new satellite release from kind of like SpaceX, right? Other things in the news, there are some updates from Google's end regarding authentication. Basically, we'll get into that. Then also, Amazon is bringing gaming to Prime Video, which was very surprising.
So random.
Yeah, so random, right?
Do you think it was like inspired by PlayStation going digital? Because if PlayStation is going to like stop selling physical games, which we spoke about in a couple of episodes back, what is Amazon doing in this case? That's suspicious. That is so suspicious. That's a very interesting
way to look at it. I guess we'll dig into that when we get to that topic, right? And last but not the least, there's also Anthropic. Anthropic obviously would never like just rest on their oars when OpenAI is announcing stuff. So Anthropic recently released like Opus 5. So we'll also get into that like today.
Yeah, bigs up to Anthropic, really. I mean, when did they release Mythos? They're literally diving into Opus 5. What's going on their engineering team?
Yeah, they're cooking.
They really are.
Alrighty.
Anyway, Iyanu, do you want kids?
Do I want kids? Yes, I want kids.
How many kids do you want?
I want 2 kids.
Okay, you want 2 kids. And at what point or at what age do you think that you would want your children to start using social media?
I see where we're getting to. First of all, like the question was like caught me off guard. Like, wait, what does my wants of kids have to do with this podcast? But yeah. Okay, so interesting question. What age do I want my kids to start using social media? I would say at an age where I feel like they're responsible enough to kind of like control effectively what they spend their time doing, or what they spend their time on social media on, rather. So I'd say maybe around I think we should also segregate the different types of social media.
No,
right?
any type of social media.
For example, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have TikTok. I'd say we have WhatsApp. I'd say I'd be really more comfortable with my kids using, for example, WhatsApp at a younger age, let's say around 15, 14, right? Even earlier, maybe 13, just because WhatsApp really serves that purpose of communication as well, right? For something like YouTube, I would be comfortable with them using YouTube, let's say around 12-ish. Reason being that there's a lot of educational content on there that's very useful, right? You can literally learn about anything on YouTube, e.g., there's a math problem in school or something like that they want to learn about. I'm pretty sure there'll be YouTube videos there. Yeah. So I'll be more comfortable with YouTube, maybe at younger ages, of course, with supervision. But then when it comes to things owned by Meta, besides WhatsApp, let's say Instagram, Facebook, I'd say I'd be more comfortable with my kids using that, let's say around 16, thereabouts, right? How about you, though?
Okay, so 16 does track. I think I totally agree. I mean, I didn't think about the WhatsApp angle because, I started using the phone when I was 8. Just because my parents were like, oh, you need to have a way for us to reach you, and if you want to call us, but it wasn't like a smartphone, it was a regular phone.
So was it back then when you were 8, was that the Nokia 3310?
It was Nokia 3310. It was Nokia 3310 because I remember
that's an OG phone.
It is an OG phone. That was the first experience I had with playing Snake.
That was a game.
Yeah, and Space Impact.
Yeah.
So those were some games I was really playing. There was this one, Bounce.
I was about to mention Bounce.
I played Bounce as well because that was all I could do with the phone and just text and call my parents. Yeah. So they gave me a phone just to be able to reach them in that case. So I didn't have access to social media. A big ups to my parents actually. I think I would do something like that as well, just so my kids are able to reach me. But on the level of social media itself, I think based on what you're saying, Snapchat, absolutely not. TikTok, absolutely not. Instagram, nope.
But then at what age do you be comfortable with them using TikTok and Instagram?
Maybe 18.
18?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, sort of like you said, when they're responsible enough for it, and I would add a layer onto it, which is not just responsible, but then there's some sort of legal would I say elements to it, so I know if anything is happening, you're fine, because social media is really scary this
so days. You're saying not until university?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, which sounds a bit hypocritical because I was using social media way before university. Yeah. But to be fair, as an adult, I kind of went back to clear some of the things that I posted on social media when I was younger because they were just really silly, random contents that I put up on there. So I don't know. The reason we're having this conversation now is because Vietnam is they're trying to put in a law that restricts the age that children are able to access social media until 16. Okay. Anyone that wants to any parents that wants to give access to social media to their kids, they have to be the ones to register and kind of be sort of the legal binder for the child's account. And I find that quite interesting because Vietnam is not the only country doing this. France is also putting that on the way. Australia was also one of the first countries to implement.
I remember
such
recently,
measures.
The UK also announced something similar, right? Keir Starmer, rather.
Yeah.
I've not heard much about that since they announced it, right? But I'd say it's definitely a step forward. Because social media does need some the usage of social media by kids does need some controlling and some supervision, right? Just to make sure kids are safe, they don't access the wrong content and stuff like that, because at that age their minds are very still very much in development, and to kind of ensure that they are exposed to the right thing. I think that's very useful. My main question is just how would this be how would this be enforced, right? I think that's the trickiest part, right? And there are definitely different ways to kind of approach it. One way is for countries to implement laws that kind of require app store owners to do appropriate age verification, or platform owners, not necessarily app store owners, do appropriate controls in their operating systems to ensure that these checks and controls are in place. Like, for example, Apple, Google, like Apple with iOS, Google with Android, and so on, like actually has information about, like, e.g. whether an app is a social network or not, right? So in such a case, if the app is a social media app, then as the app is being installed, they could mandate that the child enters like appropriate information about their parents. Another approach would be for the governments to leave it up to the app creators themselves to kind of like control, like have their own settings in place or their own controls in place when the child is setting it up, to check whether like the child is of age, to verify identity, and to also add information about their parents as well, right? It's kind of like an interesting debate because, no surprises, if you ask Google and Apple whether it should be their responsibility to implement these controls, they always say, no. This should be something that the app creators put in place, or like the parents should be the ones handling it. But if you ask the app creators, they'll be like, no, this should be Google, and this should be Google and Apple doing this, not us, right? Yeah. So I guess that's like the trickiest part at this point. Like, fine, like regulations, they make sense, right? But how exactly can these things be put in place that actually like works for kind of like everyone? Yeah,
I would argue like it might even be like at the point of, would I say, the device purchase, because I know that Apple generally on the iPhone, there is a section where you fill in your date of birth, and that's like reflective on your profile as well. Yeah. So if there's a way, say when you are purchasing the phone, I mean, obviously it would ask you for your date of birth, you fill in that information, and I would say that kind of like provides the guidance around what type of applications that you can access. Yeah. So if you are, I don't know, maybe less than 18 years, like you said, if you are trying to like access some applications, it either asks you to like provide proof of identity showing like, oh, you're legally able to like access the app. So it sends like an email immediately to your parents and be like, okay, this is what you're trying to do. Because I'm just like, okay, and if you're an adult, I mean, you're buying the phone for yourself, you're setting up your accounts, you're fine, because then you can actually, I don't know, maybe show your driver's license or something that shows that, yes, you are over 18. But also like part of what you said, because I think the approach the UK wants to take is to set in like a kind of like a region-wide block for anybody that is under the age of 18. So if you are within the UK like area, and you're less than 18, you would be required to like provide an identity card to like confirm your age when you're accessing some application. I think it's already underway for some applications, but if they launch it like in full swing, that is the approach that they are going to be taking, which is interesting because I think like very naughty children can easily use like VPN or something to like bypass this and be like they're not within the UK region.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of important questions that need to be answered just in terms of like how the systems would work, right? Like one memory that kind of like comes to mind from back in the day, like when I was much younger, right? In terms of like how children or kids typically access social media, it's not always that they access it on their own devices, right? Like back in the day, there were also situations where, let's say, someone in the classroom has a phone and another person doesn't have a phone, and he wants to, the person without a phone wants to check their Facebook message and just asks his friend, like, oh, hey, can I sign into Facebook on your phone? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then he signs in on the phone, and I'm like, how exactly would something like that work in this case, right? Like, would I'd imagine that effectively you will not be able to sign into Facebook someone else's phone, which is interesting. It's kind of like strange, but okay. Like, it's just how would it work really, right? Then also, for example, another thing that a lot of kids used to do back in the day was like, after school, you stop by, let's say, a cyber cafe or something like that.
Do we still have cyber cafes?
And just quickly check, like, log into your Facebook and something like that, right? So it could be a situation where, okay, now, like, on your own personal device, you've already, like, let's say in Vietnam, for example, let's say like this age approval and stuff like that is required. You've already gotten approval from each of your parents. Okay, like my child is allowed to sign up on Facebook and it's already on the device, stored and everything like that. But then if the child wants to log in from a cyber cafe or from his friend's phone, like how does that now work? How does that approval carry on to other devices, right? It's like very
They have to carry around the written permission. Written permission from their parents. They just take a picture of it every time they're trying to like sign into an app. Like, yes, my parents have given the permission to access it. It sounds really complicated, but I think it's a measure that is like definitely important. And they've set like 16 as the age, which aligns with your response anyway. So I think it's a good age. I mean, you are smart enough, maybe not smart enough, because children will always be children, really. And social media is a very funny place. I mean, there are so many predators like just lurking around the corner. You never really know what your child is assessing. But parents on the long run will have to like take some level of ownership. As the kids grow, even if you feel your children are like mature enough to make decisions, you still need to like actively monitor some of the things that they are assessing. Yeah,
completely agree. One thing is for sure, kids need to be protected online. And it's good to see that governments are taking steps to actually ensure that happens, right? I'd imagine that before we have these systems properly in place to ensure like these age verification are actually done appropriately, there will be different iterations of how these systems will work, right? And it's just going to be very interesting to see how those things are kind of like designed and created, right? But fantastic. It's fantastic that governments are thinking in this direction.
I agree. Cool. I definitely agree. Moving on to OpenAI, they finally released their first hardware, and it's causing a bit of issue with Apple. This is just like Apple. Very fascinating because Apple is not even a contender in the AI race. Okay, sorry, a strong contender in the AI race. So what exactly is going on? Like they're suing them, like they're extracting information from former Apple employees. My unpopular opinion is, did OpenAI force those employees to work for them? I think it's jealousy. In my opinion. But it's funny because the device is just okay. Like I've seen what it looks like, and if you take a look at it as well, it's literally just like, I don't know, some mini switchboard that allows you to kind of like do some certain actions that normally you would do like in ChatGPT. So you pair the device, it's called Micro, to your computer, either through like a Bluetooth connection or a USB cable. And you can customize it to like do specific tasks and just like press the button. Each of the buttons can do like different tasks. So if you are an engineer, I think you might actually enjoy that because you could just run this code. Or another cool part of it is like you can do voice detection.
Build a browser game called One Letter Off. Players change one letter at a time to turn the word cold to warm, add a 30-second timer, streaks, and satisfying tile animations.
To the device, and it will just like start running whatever instruction it is that you are giving to it. So I think like it's quite interesting, really. Because I'm like, did Apple have any intentions of like designing an AI product really in that area? Because it just seems like they're pushing back on it because Apple employees are like attached to it.
It's first of all, like for our viewers, I think the device in terms of form factor is sort of like a keyboard, like a mini keyboard kind of. And I personally found it very interesting. We all knew that OpenAI would get into the hardware space sometime. Exactly what the hardware product was going to be, we weren't really sure about it. The fact that they created a keyboard, fascinating. And I've not really gone deep into like how the keyboard itself works. I remember I took a look at the price real quick. I think it was about £200, like thereabouts, like a bit over £200 if I'm not mistaken. Let me Google that right now, to be honest. But yeah, we'll put the price in the video. But anyway, so yeah, it was very interesting, and I'd say like Apple coming in and initiating this kind of lawsuit or legal like process with OpenAI, basically, I'd say it's sort of, if what Apple is saying is true, then I'd say that they have every right to defend their intellectual property. But Apple is arguing that OpenAI intentionally hired Apple employees and then actively solicited information regarding Apple products and designs and so on from those employees. Apple is also accusing one of their previous employees that moved on to OpenAI of accessing like confidential documents. Apparently, Apple is saying that this specific employee left Apple with his office laptop, didn't return it, and then accessed confidential information on that laptop even after he had left Apple, and then gave OpenAI the information, and OpenAI has been using that information secretly. Whether that's true or not, we have to wait until the legal process actually plays out to actually see what the actual facts are. But that's what Apple is saying, right? So obviously that's clearly wrong if that's true, right? And Apple does have every right to kind of like defend their intellectual property, and I'd say that they should, if they believe that's what happened. Fine. Like go through the legal process. But just in terms of the product itself that OpenAI created, how useful it's going to be at the end of the day, I'm not really sure. I'll have to wait until reviews kind of like come out for the product, and I'm gonna watch those reviews, and we'll see what feedback we have for our listeners.
I think I had like my money on either a smartwatch or like, I don't know, smart glasses, not a keyboard/switchboard type of thing coming from OpenAI. The functionality, I really don't know. Would I shell out that much money just to like have a keyboard beside my keyboard?
$230.
So like paying $230 for a keyboard that is just for coding, absolutely not. Like, I'm not doing that. It has to be able to like do more. But I definitely agree with you, Iyanu. I mean, over 400 employees that used to work at Apple work at OpenAI now, and that is like so much risk of intellectual like property theft. If people are like bringing prototypes from OpenAI and they're merging it into Apple, I mean, OpenAI would have a problem with that. But people are taking things from Apple now and taking it all the way to like OpenAI. I don't even understand the way that dynamic works, because it's like, how are those meetings like? So it's like, oh my God, what did you do this week? I stole I stole ideas from Apple. They're like, oh yeah, come and do a show and tell.
That would be a crazy
all the things that you
meeting.
stole all this thing. And they're like, you know what, this is
Speaking
what Apple
of
is
show
actually
and
doing.
tell, like Apple also did accuse OpenAI of actively encouraging previous employees, like during the interview process, like to bring live demos or something like that to actually show off.
Oh my days. This is going to be an interesting lawsuit.
If that is true, let's see what the courts end up having to say.
I'm quite keen to see the resolution they come out. This piece of news is one that I'm going to follow like very closely, because Apple is, I don't know, the biggest company like when it comes to hardware and things like that, and OpenAI is still like a baby in that area. So I don't know what they're playing with, because Apple is not going to go out like easily.
This lawsuit is definitely going to drag on for a few years, I'm sure. Because, for example, the Apple versus Epic lawsuit has been dragging on for literally years now, right? I think it's been about 5 or 6 years since they started going to court. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to take a while before it's resolved.
At the end of the day, we just have to wait and see what comes out of that.
Definitely.
Talking about OpenAI and Hugging Face.
Yeah, so remember when Anthropic first of all announced Mythos? Right? And they said that, it was too dangerous to be released just because of how like capable it was when it came to cyber activities and hacking and all that kind of stuff. And everybody said that, they're just hyping this thing up to high heavens, blah, 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 blah. Apparently, OpenAI has an internal model that they've been working on, still hasn't been publicly released, but they were testing internally the cyber capabilities of this AI model. And basically, they wanted to see how effective it was at hacking, right? And they put this model inside a sandbox, which was supposed to be like a secure
area
sandbox,
for testing,
like Yeah, and it shouldn't have had internet access, for example. A secure sandbox without internet access, supposedly. And yeah, they gave the model a task, right? And then basically told it to like kind of like hack, like to pass the task, it had to like do some hacking and so on and so forth, right? And basically, while the model was operating, trying to like meet the goal, it discovered a 0-day vulnerability in OpenAI's sandbox or systems, right? Then found a way to hack its way out of the system, right? And then got onto a server, right? Or another system or one of the systems in OpenAI that had internet connection. And then through that internet connection, it got access to Hugging Face, and then it hacked into Hugging Face. For those who do not know what Hugging Face is, you can think of Hugging Face as kind of like a GitHub for AI and machine learning and so on. So basically, developers, researchers, and so on publish their new models and so on Hugging Face. And other developers, machine learning enthusiasts, researchers can also access those models, code, so on and so forth on Hugging Face, right? So apparently, the model, because the task that the model was given was apparently a task that was whose answers were hosted on Hugging Face.
Oh my days!
Right? It figured out the best way to pass the test with the highest possible score was to get access to those answers on Hugging Face. And as a result, it hacked into Hugging Face, discovered a vulnerability that even the guys at Hugging Face had never discovered, and then hacked into their system. And yeah, that was kind of like crazy, right? And the Hugging Face folks discovered that, something is wrong. Apparently, obviously, you have alerts, internal like audits and so on are going on, like to understand like what's happening in your system, to discover like this kind of attacks, right?
Yeah.
So Hugging Face apparently identified that they were being hacked, pretty much, and they needed to respond to the hack, right? Now, in order to respond to the hack, they tried using American AI models to kind of like fight back.
Oh my days.
But now, because American AI models, top tier American AI models, have a lot of restrictions and guardrails, they apparently refused to execute like the commands and the instructions that Hugging Face was giving them to like perform like the counter attack or the mitigation, right? So Hugging Face had to now rely on Chinese models to fight back the hack that the OpenAI model was pretty much perpetrating, which was kind of like crazy to see, right? And yeah, that was just like a really wild thing that happened during like the past week or so.
I find that like so interesting, really, because when our guest Okmayo came to the studio in a couple of episodes, it was talking about how when it comes to like the DevOps part of it and cybersecurity, we really need to like think about how much power these AI models have. Because if you're saying that OpenAI is testing a new model within a sandbox area, a sandbox is not even live. What is going on? That means like the AI models definitely like have the opportunity to, I don't know, maybe like morph into something else more than what it is. What if these AIs just keep like getting powerful and powerful? I know, but saying it then, like they're just going to like take over the internet one day and start like shutting things down. Because
Skynet has become self-aware. In 1 hour, it will initiate a massive nuclear attack on its enemy.
What enemy? Us! Humans!
Getting out of the OpenAI, like, would I say network and getting into Hugging Face, that is just wild. It could have been, I don't know, any other company really. But Hugging Face not having like the ability to even mitigate the hack, that is scary.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the parts that blew my mind the most, right? Because for anyone that listens to sort of like basically news about like AI and everything like that, like typically when American news or American companies kind of like talk about like the possibility of cyber attacks and so on and so forth, right? Typically, people talk about, the possibility of people using Chinese models to kind of like attack US company or American companies and so on and so forth. But in this case, it was effectively Hugging Face trying to use an American model, American models to defend themselves. But these models refused to help them effectively, right? And they had to rely on Chinese AI to defend themselves at the end of the day. So it's like very interesting, right? Because it's like in the process of trying to mitigate risks of attacks, right? Our US companies, I mean, I feel like it's a balancing act, right? Like you definitely do want companies to be able to defend themselves from attacks, right? And if these companies need to use American software to do it, like I think, especially if they're like, let's say, paying for access to the software, they should be able to do so, right? So it's like where is the middle ground? Like it's like, what do you think? What do you think about that?
I definitely agree. I mean, that's a bit odd. The fact that they had to like rely on a Chinese model to help them solve the issue. And one of the things that we've also spoken about on the podcast, the fact that the US wants like a bit of ownership in these AI companies, because now you really start to think about whether the Chinese have a right to like start demanding for stake in AI usage within the US. Because in this case, if the US companies are like falling back to Chinese models to perform things that UX models are not allowing them to do, then they'll be more functional than the US models in that case. It's just like quite tricky. Definitely, there needs to be like some sort of standard attached to these things, because this whole experience, I hope it's been like an important learning curve for OpenAI, for Hugging Face, for like other companies that are building like AI models, because first things first, they should not have had to like go back to the Chinese models. That's something that needs to be fixed. And I think that's just generally the way I see it. There should be some sort of like closed network that allows that, like you said, if you're paying for this usage, you should have access to it, especially when you need it the most. Because what other scenario are you going to require like assistance? It's usually when it's related to cybersecurity or something that can take down your products in the blink of an eye. And that access should be there like readily. That's what I think.
Sounds good.
Talking about verification and cybersecurity, Google is now allowing users to verify their identity using a video selfie. I'm sorry, this is like a bit funny to me because it's just like there's so many options for verification like right now, and a video selfie seems interesting, especially for someone that uses like a laptop for serious business and verification. In this case, it's like, okay, fine, I'm recording a video to verify my identity. It seems a bit funny to me. I know it's serious, but then it still seems funny. But the way this is supposed to work is there will still be other options for verification. So if you want to like sign in using your password, passkeys, that's fine. But this option allows you to like verify your identity using a selfie video.
Selfie video. Right, I'd say more authentication methods, the better. Increases the potential accessibility of the product, right, which is nice. So I don't really have many thoughts on this, to be honest. I mean, it's just like great to see that Google is still kind of like innovating in this within this space of security, authentication, and so on. Pretty cool. I'd like to see. I am curious about how just the general flow of this authentication process would be like, right? I'd imagine that there will be some kind of screen where the user will be instructed to turn left, turn right, turn your head up, turn your head down, something like that. It seems like that would be a really slow process, right? So it's like, how do they speed that up? Which is the main thing that I'm very curious about, right? It just, I don't know. It just strikes me as something that might be slow, right? Versus if I just use Face ID, or I just use a passkey, or I just use a password manager, and then like the password manager automatically fills up my password, right? So I
think one issue that I've had with like this selfie and face verification application is always dependent on good lighting. Like, have you tried using like any verification thing and it's just like, oh no, the lighting is wrong. You need more lighting. You need to stand by. And I'm like, it is 10 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm trying to verify my identity in the middle of the night. There is no natural lighting anywhere for me to use. Then you have to like wait until, I don't know, the morning before you can make that happen. So I don't know. It's not a process or an option that I personally like. Definitely still going to like be relying on the defaults like verification options. But I mean, good for the people that want to use it. Another innovative bit with Google is the fact that, I mean, Gemini is close to 1 billion users.
Cool.
And that is amazing. I mean, but it still feels like they're behind OpenAI and Anthropic because, I mean, ChatGPT already hit their 1 billion
monthly active users in June. That was like
in June. Yeah. So, and Gemini is like a month behind, which is not that bad. But I mean, that just puts them like in top 5 contenders when it comes to the AI race, which is fine, good enough for them. But it's quite interesting to see, really. I personally haven't used Gemini that much. It's typically between like Claude and ChatGPT. So the numbers are quite impressive. And
I mean, 1 billion is definitely very impressive, right? So yeah, congrats to Google on that, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And Samsung has new stuff.
Yeah, Samsung has new stuff. They had the Galaxy Unpacked event recently, or a Samsung Unpacked. And during that event, they announced like a number of new Galaxy phones, 3 new foldables specifically. There's the Galaxy Z Fold 8, there's the Z Fold 8 Ultra, and then there is the Z Flip 8.
Can you guys see how excited Iyanu is like talking about this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm most excited about the Z Fold.
What are people using Samsung Fold? I want to know.
Like the fact that you're asking this question is wild to me. Because
I want to know.
So many people use Samsung phones. So many people, especially in Android, when they use people that use Android phones, it's typically they use like people use Samsungs or they use like, let's say, Google like Pixel.
But who are the people using the Fold? Is what I want to know.
I have used I have a Samsung phone.
Exactly. I know you are a Samsung fanboy.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but in terms of like smartphone usage or smartphone market share, I think Samsung might be either number 1 or number 2, right? It always juggles between Apple and Samsung in terms of global smartphone market share. So I think Samsung is either number 1 or 2. But anyway, like millions of people out there like use Samsungs, right? The Z Fold 8 is a new form factor for the folding phone genre. So basically, typically, their Z series or Z folds have been have had this kind of like candy bar shapes where they're like rectangular and longer, or they have more of like heights. But now Samsung has created like a passport style foldable.
Oh, nice.
So the phone is like the size of a passport. And if you remember the BlackBerry Passport, I really like the form factor of the BlackBerry Passport. Yeah. Right. It has that like a similar squarish or more square, shortish, stocky design, and I think it's really cool. And you can fold it out, and when you fold it out, it has like a really nice display that it has a perfect orientation for multimedia consumption, especially like if you're gaming, if you're watching Netflix, amazing for that. And yeah, honestly, I'm considering getting one, I can't lie. So there's that. Really nice phone, really superb.
And how much are they going for?
So the Z Fold 8 is about £1,600, if I'm not mistaken. The Z Fold 8 Ultra is a bit over $2,000. That's expensive. I mean, it definitely also depends. Yeah, that's expensive. Yeah, that's expensive. I can't lie. It's definitely also depends on where, like, the amount of storage you're getting with the phone. Like, it starts from 256 gigabytes. You can go to 512 and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, definitely not cheap phones. There's also the cheaper Galaxy Z Flip, right, which is kind of like this flip style phone. Like,
oh, I want a flip phone. Oh my god, I've actually wanted a flip phone.
Yeah, so there's that, and that's about £1,100, I think. Yeah. So those are kind of like the 3 foldables that Samsung has introduced. They also announced that they're going to launch their own smart glasses, which is pretty cool. Google as well announced like some like a week back or so, like some new smart glasses that they're going to bring out, so which is really cool as well. I think they might have actually already launched them. So yeah, definitely great to see like Samsung innovating. By the way, in terms of the passport style foldable, it was really interesting that Samsung decided to launch that specific style of foldable because Apple has been rumored to be launching their own passport style foldable in a few months. So it's like Samsung thought to themselves, how can we outdo Apple?
All the time.
How can we outdo Apple?
But you know what Apple would do? Apple will market the hell out of a device. That is one thing they're very good at. When it launches, whenever it does, which I think might be like in October during the Apple event, they're just going to make it seem like we are the first person to like ever create a passport style phone. Nobody has ever done it before.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they'll do it like nicely. Yeah. I think we need to like do a proper comparison of the smart glasses at this point. Okay. Because we have the Meta one. I mean, there is the Google one, and then now that Samsung is having one as well. I wonder when Apple is going to like drop their own smartwear line, like pull off 4 side by side and do like a comparison of which one
that'll be fun.
Works fine. But I've seen like the Meta new line of smart glasses. They look nice. Maybe it's because it's like Kylie Jenner is the ambassador that is like those. Styling them.
Those are pretty cool.
They look really cool.
Apparently, for people that buy the Kylie Jenner style, there is a special voice assistant or voice for the voice assistant that sounds like Kylie Jenner as well.
That is not creepy. Because imagine like having Kylie Jenner in your ear. Oh my, no. Absolutely not. I'm not getting Meta smart glass anyway because...
If it would be really cool to have Morgan Freeman in your ear.
Oh my day.
Or David Attenborough. David Attenborough.
Yeah. Oh.
You know David Attenborough?
I know David Attenborough.
It'd be really cool. Right. The Rock.
Can you smell?
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
What The Rock is cooking.
Okay, fair enough. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Oh, that would be nice to have in your hair as well. Yeah. One of our favorite tech bros has been a bit out of action in the news, but now he's back. Not him technically, but SpaceX is doing some new endeavors and it's not looking great. I mean, we've said like since Elon became a trillionaire, SpaceX...
He's no longer a trillionaire, by the way.
Oh my days, that was quick.
SpaceX's stock has been on the decline, literally, right?
And... I mean, this is part of what we have to like alter with. I did not see that coming.
I saw it coming. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be sustainable, at least for a while.
It was so overpriced.
But you people ate Elon out there. I'm sorry, he has too many haters. They were not going to let him enjoy that for long.
Yeah, he does have haters.
So now, coupled with this Starlink launch, they were trying to like add a couple of more satellites. I mean, that's one of Elon's ventures that I think I personally actually like, just because I can never say no to bad internet. I mean,
you can't say no to bad internet.
I can't say no to
good internet.
Good internet. I mean, because I was on a British Airways flight like recently, and even though we were like up in the air, the internet was even way better than what it was in my apartment, and I think they were using like Starlink to like power that. So that's brilliant. Like satellites, internet, yes, please bring that any day, every time.
Nice.
But this new test for SpaceX failed. The landing was not that bad. I mean, it didn't explode. Nothing exploded this time. It was just like floating on top of the water, which is good because that means they could go and retrieve it and study.
So it crashed, but it was kind of like not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It crashed in the water.
Yeah, it did crash in the water.
Okay.
So they were able to like fly a drone to just monitor some of the things that they could see on why. The launch did not work the way they wanted it to, but I'm sure like Elon is not smiling wherever he is right now.
Speaking of launches, Elon has a lot more competition now because recently China actually successfully retrieved like a rocket. Like, you know, initially it was the whole rocket launch and relanding thing was kind of like mainly SpaceX that had most of the... I mean, Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos' space company, also kind of like has done that in the past, but it's mainly been like US companies. But recently China actually successfully achieved that as well. So it's like now that China is able to retrieve or kind of like bring back rockets as well, that's a lot of heat on SpaceX's back, right?
The competition is like quite strict. I actually enjoy it. I like it just because giving one person or one company that monopoly it's not right. Yeah. So let's give them a little bit of competition. And it's so interesting the way this companies, I really want to see the way the product team, the engineering team is, because it seems like it's so tight. I don't know, Samsung announces a passport style phone because they heard like Apple is going to be releasing one.
Yeah.
So it becomes a thing now of which company is the first to like conceive the idea, and you have to like release it fast and test it before your competitors pick up on the idea and like start dabbling into it. Tech is so interesting like right now, and I mean this is what I live for, literally. But Amazon bringing games to Prime Video, that was not something that I thought.
Imagine playing GTA 6 on Prime Video.
Why? No, like why? Because my theory is PlayStation comes to say, oh, we're moving all our games to digital. Now Amazon is coming to say they're bringing games to Prime Video. What's that?
I think Amazon here is just probably trying to keep up with the competition, basically Netflix, because Netflix has had games on
they've had it for a while.
Quite some time. I imagine that Amazon's games would be a lot more premium, right? Because Amazon has had their gaming platform for a while, like their online streaming cloud gaming platform. So Amazon apparently is going to bring a number of games that they've had on their gaming platform over to Prime Video. So the idea here is that customers of Prime Video also have access to those games, which is pretty good, right? I believe. I
don't hate that if I'm paying for Prime already.
If they keep it at the same price, I am for that, right? But we all know that they are going to increase that price sometime.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Imagine getting ads while you're gaming.
Oh my days, that would be my 13th reason.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play games on
They'll show the ads before you start the game. Hopefully not in the middle of the gameplay.
That would be so terrible.
This would be crazy.
I literally crash out. Like imagine if I'm fighting the final boss and I'm about to beat him, and then suddenly an ad just comes up at the climax.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
You know what?
Like just turn it off. Give up.
I literally throw my controller at the screen.
Honestly, it doesn't make no sense.
And cancel my Prime.
But I think the cool thing about Amazon bringing games to Prime is the fact that you can use your controller. I think that's so cool. I don't think Netflix has the same feature in their own games, because most of the games are usually the ones you have to play with your remote control or something. So that does make sense. It will give that gamey feel. Yeah. And if you're like an avid gamer, I mean, when they launch this properly, test it out, let us know what your thoughts are on this. And the final news on the list?
Anthropic has launched a new model, Opus 5. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Which is quite interesting because, I mean, Mythos Opus 4.6 was all launched this year. What are they doing?
They also launched Fable this year. There's
just like so many models like being released. I wonder if it's fine to like add an improvement to one model without launching a new one all over again.
Fair enough.
Because it's becoming like kind of confusing at this point. Because I'm still getting like notifications and prompts like, oh, test Mythos. Now I'm saying test Fable. Like, what is the difference? What is the difference between both of these things? I just want to...
Definitely can be overwhelming for the regular user, right? I mean, I feel like an ideal situation would be for there to be a routing system in place, and whenever a user submits a prompt, it automatically routes to the appropriate model without me having to define which to use, right? Based on the prompt. E.g., if I'm asking it about some intense or really difficult math calculation or complex math problem, it should know the right model to route it to. If I ask it something really basic, it should know like, oh, this light purpose model can handle that, so we'll route it to like this like smaller model, right? So I
raise you like a higher product offering, and I think I've seen like a couple of products out there that do this. I'm not giving you free ads, sorry. Which is like having a combination of several AI models. Actually, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they are all included into one single subscription, which I think is like really cool. But what you're saying now about how, say you have an actual problem, you just type in the problem and the system detects, okay, you know what, ChatGPT is the best model to like use for this. And then it runs it and then it brings back the response. I think that would be really cool to use. I haven't tested any of the ones that I've seen yet, just because I don't know. It's just like, I have too many accounts already everywhere. Having to like start all over again is one that I'm not like very keen on. But yeah, I think auto detection of which model, that would be a really good one, because it's genuinely confusing even to me. I don't know what each of the models are capable of doing. And I think a lot of the work that I do with Anthropic is not so tech heavy that I require codecs or anything to like make that happen. So some of these improvements are just honestly not for me.
Fair enough. Anthropic, if you're listening, make your model selection process flow easier, right? Yeah.
Literally. And with that, we've come to the end of this episode. What are some of the things that you are looking forward to for the rest of the year? I know we talked about this before, but I'm just like, I never really know what to expect at this point. It's just like something new every other week.
Yeah. But definitely looking forward to the foldable iPhone. I want to see how Apple kind of like goes, like in what direction Apple goes with that. I also want to see the market's response to that, because will this significantly drive up market adoption of foldables? Maybe, right? Could be nice to see. What else am I looking forward to? Smart glasses from Apple.
Yeah, me too.
That'll be pretty cool, right? Looking forward to GTA 6. That would be pretty cool.
We should have like a watch party for that when you launch it, and we stream it live on the channel.
That would be really cool.
Like first reactions. You guys hold the Iyanu to this. It has to make it happen. Like comment.
Why don't you make it happen?
I don't understand.
Idea.
I haven't played GTA.
Your idea.
I have not played GTA since like Vice City.
Not you admitting that you're uncool publicly, Dammy. Like,
wow.
How haven't you played GTA since Vice City?
To be fair, I don't know, because it's hard. Like it's really hard.
It's okay.
That's the only reason I started this, and then I don't know, I gave up after some mission. I tried like 4 times and I didn't scale through, so I just packed it up. Like, please, this is tiring. I'm not playing this game again. But I mean, all the Iyanu up to it. Comment and let us know what date you want him to like stream it, because you have to buy the game and test it.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah. See, it's a deal. That was easy.
I have not agreed to this deal, but let's see how it works.
Okay, so that's all like we're looking forward to. Again, I'm really big on October or September, whenever Apple decides to like do their events. I really want to see the smart glasses. I am getting one the week it drops, just because it's Apple, and I don't know, you're looking at me with your side eye now, but still, I am buying the Apple smart glasses because I've wanted to get the Meta one, but just because
privacy.
Privacy issues. So no.
Alrighty.
Looking forward to that. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Tech Acto. We bring you news happening in tech, startups, and just the latest just all around globally,
worldwide.
Every 2 weeks. We'll catch you in our next episode. If you are not following us on social media, follow us at
Tech Acto Pod.
And if you'd like to say hello via email, the email to pop a message to is
hello@techtacto.live.
Hit the subscribe button, hit like if you enjoy what you watched, leave a comment as usual, and we'll catch you guys in our next episode. Bye.
Peace.